Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my out-of-box review for the HG Zaku 2 and Big Gun set Gundam Thunderbolt Anime version. Now, as you can see here in this set, we not only have the Zaku 2 Gundam Thunderbolt version, which is not too different from a regular Zaku 2 in its overall design, some very small differences, and then of course it has that big huge backpack on there as well, and then we also have this huge big gun, aptly named Big Gun. And yeah, it's looking pretty cool in the new color schemes. I really prefer this color scheme to the original anime color scheme, as I said in the unboxing. I forgot that the Zaku is actually slightly differently colored as well. In the manga version, I should say, the lighter green of the Zaku is a much lighter green. In this one, it's definitely darker. And the Big Gun as well is also in a different color. It's just mostly all just in gray, aside from a very few little purplish gray spots. Mostly just the piece in there inside the cannon, which you can barely see. And then there's a couple of like purplish gray highlights, but those are actually just stickers on the sort of turbines there on the top and bottom of the Big Gun, but otherwise just very gray, which I prefer because it just looks more realistic, more mechanical than the manga version, which was like in like light blue and purple colors. Just, yeah, of course all of that's not really going to matter if you're going to be painting, but if you are going to be just building the out of box, I think these colors are definitely more preferable, but it could just be personal opinion. So anyway, just gotta say a big thank you to MindFenix Hobby Store for sending me this kit to share with you guys. Really cool. And definitely looking forward to doing something cool with this. So here's a look around here. It's not really going to be a whole lot to see, I guess, but there's some cool stuff there. Lots of stickers. I did do some live streaming on my Facebook page while building this, so if you guys saw that, you saw one thing that I did also notice during that I'll point out to you guys now, is that here on the sticker sheet for the Zaku 2, if you remember, we had two different sticker sheets, one for the Zaku and one for the Big Gun. These stickers here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 stickers here on the sticker sheet. Those are used only in the manga version. In this anime version, you're not supposed to use those, so if you're like me and you're building and you're thinking, oh, where do those stickers go? It doesn't say it anywhere in the manual. Those do go on the backpack, so you can use them there if you want. But according to the manual, you're not supposed to use them for this version. It does say that in there. So let's just talk about the Zaku 2 itself here first. And actually, it's worth noting that at the moment, I believe that they're not planning on selling this as its own individual kit. With the original manga version, the Zaku 2 was sold on its own, if I remember correctly. For this version, though, I haven't seen any announcement about this being sold on its own, so I'm not too sure about that at the moment. But just because it comes with the set here, we'll take a look at this individually by itself here first. Gonna be a bunch of stickers on here, as I mentioned, just to point a bunch of those out. Obviously, we've got a sticker there for the mono eye on the backpack, those gray stickers there. All these gray stickers, all those gray little circles, those are all stickers. Here, these gold accents on the verniers on the backpack. This gray stripe on the fuel tank. On the legs, we've got all these little gold verniers there, are all on the inside and outside, so it's like 10 on each leg of those tiny little gold stickers. And I guess that's pretty much going to be it on the Zaku, but yeah, a lot. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little small gray stickers on each side. So that's 12, 24 of those that you have to apply. It's quite a lot. So overall, really cool design. The backpack is going to plug in with these pipes. Oh, I forgot there's also stickers on the caps on the sides of the elbows and on the knee under there. On the Origins kits, I complained a little bit about how the pipes work, of how they kind of plug into the leg, and they're just kind of like loose there. Not quite as loose in this case, but in this case they do seem a little bit shorter. They seem to want to pop out more easily, so they're not very secure in there. Not really the biggest problem. You can always just set it right back in whenever you want, but it's just something worth noting, I guess. The head, you are able to move the mono eye up underneath there. There's a switch that you can move side to side to move the mono eye left and right. The mono eye, the circle in there is molded detail, so that will make it much easier to paint, unlike the Origins kits where there's no molded detail for that. You just kind of have to guess where to paint a circle. This one does have molded details, so that is good. The head is going to move up only about that far, not very far, before it comes off, so you're not really going to have a whole lot of upward movement down and just side to side, kind of normal. The shoulders are going to come forward a little bit. You can see this gray part inside there in the chest does separate out a little bit. And then back, we do have a seam line there on the shoulder, of course. Arms are going to be able to go up. Let's see, really only about that much. That's really as far as you're going to be able to get the arm with that shoulder armor on there. And then you can just rotate and then bend only about 90 degrees there at the elbow. So when it comes to being able to hang on to the handles of the big gun, I guess that may be something that might be a little bit of a concern. If the arm range of movement is not that much, you might be kind of very stuck in one pose. If you're able to do that with holding on to the cannon, so we'll just have to see. In the waist, you're going to have a little bit of movement. Again, not too much, but I wouldn't really want to have too much because with this giant backpack, you don't really want to have a lot of movement there. The backpack's just going to weigh it back like that. So I could even do with even less movement in the waist probably for this particular kit. Front skirts you can separate like so. Very long front skirts here. Those are going to be moving like that. The side skirts are going to move just a little bit as well. The back skirt is just kind of there, nothing really going on there. The legs are going to rotate and bend at the knee, and again at the knee as well, only about 90 degrees there, so not really the greatest, but for this particular kit it should probably be okay. That's all you're going to have. There is a double joint, as you can see. This knee is going to move, that knee part is going to move separately, so it's not a bad joint, but just not really going to allow for much range of movement, unfortunately. And the ankle is just going to move kind of side to side. It's on like a double ball joint, so it's able to move side to side like that to move. So you can get the ankle at a more extreme angle there. Underneath the feet, it's the kind of half detail, half empty HG feet, so not really the greatest. And then they are able to move forward just a little bit like so, with allowing that ankle joint to come out just a little bit there. We have a seam line down the back of the leg as well, and then on the thigh armor you're going to have a seam line up inside there. On the arm you're going to have a seam line down the front of the forearm, and then on the back there as well. So the kits are a little bit more dated in terms of how much they have all their seam lines and everything like that, but overall pretty nice. On the backpack, nothing really moves. On here we've got these parts which are supposed to be the articulated mechanical arms, but they don't actually do anything. We don't have any option parts for that, unfortunately. It would be cool if we did have extra pieces that would be option arms that you can switch out like on the full armor Gundam, but those just plug into there like that. Then for the accessories, we are going to have a bazooka, which is going to be looking pretty nice. Has this little kind of thing there on the end. The secondary handle is going to move up and down. The main handle is going to move forward and back a little bit there. And the camera is going to move up and down a little bit there. Pink sticker inside there for the lens. And does have pegs on both the left and right side to peg into your weapon holding hands. Then we also have a Zaku Machine Gun, which again, forward handle moves side to side. This camera moves up and down, and this one also does have pegs in the left and right side of the handle that you can use for that. No sticker or anything inside the camera for this one. It's just really simple, basic Zaku Machine Gun. Then we have our Heat Hawk. Again, this one also just very simple. Nothing really too much to that. It's just all one piece. And we have some option hands. On the kit, I've just got regular holding hands. We do also have the option of just a plain closed fist, only for the left hand, unfortunately. No closed fist for the right hand. But then we do also have a trigger finger hand for the right, a trigger finger hand with a bent wrist for the right. So here's just the difference there. Trigger finger hands, one with a straight wrist, one with a bent wrist. And then a trigger finger hand for the left side, also with a bent wrist. Then we have this little piece, which is going to attach onto the fuel tank here, and then that is going to allow you to plug the bazooka onto the fuel tank, and that can be stuck on there like that. And then we also have this piece, which you can attach the Heat Hawk and the machine gun to, which will allow you to clip those onto the backpack as well. So the machine gun goes on the outside, and Heat Hawk goes on the inside. So it's going to look something like that, and then this just clips onto these little hooks up underneath the backpack, like so, and then there we go, and then we can be carrying all of our weapons on the already very big and heavy backpack. Now it's also carrying all the weapons as well, so that's pretty cool. Now for the big gun, which is barely fitting onto my base here, this has screws at the top and at the bottom of each leg. The legs don't extend or anything, you can only just change the angle, so I don't have the screws very tight because I want to be able to change the angle kind of freely. So there's not really any articulation to the legs other than that, other than just being able to move them up and down here like that. So if you wanted to have it more low, you can set it there, or more high, you can set it there. This was a whole lot of fun, putting all of these little thruster bells on each leg. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on each leg, making 24 of those tiny little thruster bells that you have to cut out and clean and all of that. So that was a lot of fun. All these little stickers on here, this caution marking sticker, like the striping there, small little gray circle stickers here on here, 1, 2, 3 there on each side of each leg. And then yeah, on these turbines here we have these small little purplish gray stickers. There's 6 of those on each one of these, and there's 3 turbines, so 18 of those little stickers there. Here on the side of the gun, red stickers there and there. And then we do have our 2 clear red parts that are supposed to go in there, but I haven't put them in yet because those are something you're going to want to put in last. And then just small little gray stickers there, on the main part of the body, there, all those little gray circles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on there. Yeah, you guys get the idea, there's a lot. And then here on the barrel, that inner part is like the purplish gray part. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 black stickers to fill in that black space in there as well. So as far as articulation, there's really not a whole lot. This thing is just kind of fixed on there, this handle, but the secondary handle is able to come down and then fold out like that. So that's where our secondary handle is going to be for this. So let's see how this is going to work. So yeah, here's just a demonstration. If you don't have an extra action base to hold up your Zaku 2 and you just have no choice but to have it just standing on the ground, you can bring the big gun down low enough to do that. It looks okay. I think definitely the better bet would be to have an action base. Now, do I think an action base should have been included, or some sort of base should have been included? Like with a Full Armor Gundam had that very simple base that it came with. I think something like that would have been very good to include in this kit. Now, of course, the one downfall is that that's more plastic in the kit. That's going to raise the price a little bit, maybe 100 or 200 yen, to a price of a kit that was already quite expensive. I mentioned in the unboxing that I thought 3,800 yen was a little bit expensive for this kit, and I'll come back to that a little bit later. But of course, adding that extra base in there would probably have raised it up. They probably would have raised it up to 4,000 yen for this kit. Now, maybe once you get up to 4,000 yen, maybe that's going to be the limit where people are going to start to get turned off to the kit. 4,000 yen, for an HG set, despite it having the big gun in there as well. That's still a lot for a 1/44 scale HG set. That's not like some mobile armor or something. So maybe that's why they didn't include any sort of base with this, but I think it really, really should have been included there. I think probably for all of these Thunderbolt kits. I can't remember which ones actually do include a base. I know the Psycho Zaku also includes a base, but I think that maybe aside from the Full Armor Gundam and the Psycho Zaku, I think those are maybe the only 2 that do actually come with bases for them. So this one I think definitely should have got one too. Now let's say, for example, you decided to split up the set and do something else with your big gun and you just want to have the Zaku by itself. Here's a look at that just for example here with the Zaku just flying by itself. And I'll say, unfortunately, there's pretty much no way, it's pretty much impossible to hold the bazooka in the right hand. Even with that handle that folds forward, it's really not going to do you any good because of the ammo container. The way that the ammo container is like off to the side like that, there's just no way. If you try over the shoulder, it can't really go over the shoulder because the shield is in the way, so you'd have to take off the shield and then maybe you could do it. It can't go under the arm because that ammo container is off to one side. That's where the arm needs to be if it's under the arm, so there's no way to do that. Even if you used the bent wrist, using the bent wrist is actually worse for trying to hold the bazooka in the right arm. So basically, bazooka in the right arm, even though it shows it in the manual that you can do it, yes, you can put it there, but you're not really going to actually be able to do anything with it. So That's unfortunate. You can, of course, hold it in the left hand, though, if you wanted to do some dual wielding, something like this. Otherwise, I mean, just keeping it attached to the fuel tank on the back, I think looks kind of cool as well, just because it's just kind of cool, unique something about it. So, alternatively, though, the Zaku Machine Gun you're not really going to have any trouble with, of course, because of that bent wrist. The way the Zaku Machine Gun stock sticks back is it often hinders the arm. It's often hindered by the arm without any sort of bent wrists, so I think most Zaku kits definitely need that if you want to be able to hold the Zaku Machine Guns. Just kind of a little bit of a poor design, really, to be honest, and I'm not really even that much of a fan of the design of the Zaku Machine Gun myself. Normally I don't really care too much to use it, but just for this demonstration's sake. And then I've got the Heat Hawk there attached onto the extra piece that's on the backpack there as well. So that's just if you wanted to have just your Zaku kind of just by himself. And just for a size comparison, if you are thinking about maybe using the big gun for something else, just sort of how it compares to size, here it is compared with a 1/100 scale kit. This is the 1/100 scale master grade Kempfer, of course. And so I think if you did want to, you know, as I assume there's a lot of people out there who are thinking like that they want to maybe buy this set and maybe keep the Zaku for itself and then take the big gun and then turn the big gun into some sort of weapon for like maybe a 1/100 scale kit or something like that. I assume there's probably people out there who are thinking about that, so if you are, hopefully this size comparison helps give you a little bit of an idea of how the cannon's going to compare next to a 1/100 scale kit. Now, as you can see, this thing is just too big to fit onto my rotating base here, as you saw before as well. I'm just using this kind of board there underneath, so excuse that. Also, the Kotobukiya flying base that I usually like to use, this base here, for 1/144 scale kits, is too high. The lowest setting, the lowest that I can get that to go, is too high to have the Zaku. So you have to have the Zaku, like if you want to have it like this, like floating, not off the ground, up off the ground, you need to have an action base, but you need to have an action base that can get the Zaku just a little bit just off the ground, to have it in like this kind of pose holding the cannon, because the cannon only goes so high. So one thing that I did forget to mention about the articulation of the cannon is that it does rotate there, of course, so you can turn the cannon around, but it doesn't tilt up and down, so you can't have the cannon like pointing more up or pointing down. You can do that though by adjusting the legs, of course, just putting like one leg at a lower angle than the other ones, but that is just all I wanted to say about that, really. I really do like the design of the legs, though. I think this is pretty much just made for making a diorama. Some sort of space diorama with the big gun attached to some sort of like space debris or something, of course, there. Some big chunk of metal, whatever, just floating in space debris. And especially with like these claws there on the end. Those aren't articulated at all, unfortunately. Kind of would have been cool if they would have maybe built a little bit of articulation into those, just them be able to open and close or something. But, you know, that's just a really minor thing to point out. Other than that, it's really about all that I can say about this kit. I mean, it's a really cool kit. Now, just going back to the point that I wanted to talk about the price of it, with it being 3,800 yen. I think when you think about that price compared to other kits that are going to be in like the 3,000 yen range, there's a lot of lower end master grade kits you can get in that price range. Any RG you can get for less than that price. Most of the RE kits you can get for less than this. So by that reasoning, I think that this is a little bit overpriced for what I mean, just for the amount of plastic, the amount of parts, because the big gun is obviously big, but it's not really that many parts. What I think you're going to be getting for that price is you're going to be basically getting like 2 HG kits. So if you consider, you know, the average price for an HG is probably around 1,500 yen. So if you had got 2 of those, that's then 3,000 yen. That's still less than this. So I do still think this the price of this is a little bit high. So 3,800 yen. I think maybe 3,500 yen, 3,400 yen maybe would have been better. It's a small difference, but just that's all my own kind of thoughts about that. I don't know. Is it worth it? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's a really cool kit, right? To have that huge gun. It's really unique. We don't really have this kind of thing in any other form. I mean, there's suits that have like big weapons, but like to have a whole separate kind of weapon thing like this is pretty unique. And if you wanted something like this, there's not really too much choice for you out there. So cool kit. The Zaku itself is going to have some seam lines and things like that, characteristic of an older kit. Most newer high grades don't have as many seam lines on them that you're going to have to work with, but that shouldn't really be too much of an issue. Shouldn't really come as too much of a surprise for a high grade in general. So overall, enjoyable build. If you're going to be painting, just keep in mind you're in for a lot of masking. If you're not going to be painting, just keep in mind you're in for a lot of stickers. But yeah, I think the end result is going to be what's important, which is going to be looking pretty awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any other questions or comments about this, leave those down below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.